Hey guys, it's Steph here. I took a little break from videos for a minute this week because I attended a UNLA gardening convention. I learned so much. I left thinking, oh man, I didn't know nearly as much as I thought I did, but it was so informative and it's really going to help me in my gardening season this year. Anyway, there was something that happened in my greenhouse that I wanted to tell you about and kind of show you what is happening to some of my seedlings, some deficiencies that they're experiencing because of what happened in my greenhouse. So about a week ago, I think it was a week and a half ago, I had my heaters in here just fine, but I did turn up my heater right back here. Sorry guys, my greenhouse is a mess. I really got to clean it up. But I turned it up to level 3 just because it was going to get really cold at night. And during the nighttime, everything looked really good before I went to bed. And then when I came out in the morning to check on all of my seedlings, the tripper, I always get that backwards. The breaker had tripped. I always want to say the tripper braked. My brain does that. I don't know if you guys do that. I mix up words all the time. So the breaker tripped and I come inside and it is 30 degrees in here. So I have my stalk growing. I have my Lysanthus growing. I wasn't too worried about my sweet peas or my Ranunculus just because they're a little bit more cold hardy. But these tiny little stalk seeds are so tender and are also my Lysanthus, and I was feeling so proud because everything was doing so well. When I came in here, the soil was frosted on quite a few of my stalk seedlings. Anyways, there has been some deficiencies happening because of it. I think because the roots have been kind of stressed out big time, some of my stalk seeds, but ironically, my Lysanthus seems to be doing okay. So I'm going to kind of show you what's going on with these, tell you what's happening and how I'm getting them to recover, which I am so grateful. I thought I was going to lose all of them. I'm not lying when I said I cried a little bit. I was so frustrated. I came out back into my house and I was just like a little bit teary-eyed because I've been working so hard and I was just so frustrated. So yes, my plants make me cry sometimes. Okay, this is where I've been storing most of my seedlings. I'm definitely going to need to add another grow light next year. This just isn't adequate on the other side of my greenhouse. We've been getting no sunlight this winter. It's been snowing nonstop. Let's just take a look at it again. Look at all of the snow. It has been crazy. It just keeps on coming and is not letting up. I am so ready for spring at this point. I just want to be outside. I don't usually get this eager. Anyways, on a side note, before I show you these seedlings, I just wanted to give an update on my low tunnel. It is just handling this snow so well. It's really tough, really sturdy. I am actually not going to wipe off the snow if it does get a little too heavy, which I don't anticipate it will. I might have to brush it off. It's going to be a really nice insulator for those ranunculus corms that happen to grow back this year that I wasn't expecting. I'm creating my own little igloo over there. Okay, let's pull out these seedlings, my stock ones. I'm going to show you what's going on with them and then give you a little update on my Lysanthus. So these are the very first ones I grew. They came out in about 3 days. It was crazy fast. But right there, I'm trying to focus as best I can. You can see they're starting to turn a little bit yellow. They also have a little bit of leaf curl, which this one over here is more, you can see that leaf curl a little bit more. So they were looking absolutely beautiful, perfect, nice and green, so healthy before they got a little bit of that cold damage. So I did lose a few. So the ones you don't see in here are the ones that just shriveled up. They couldn't handle it, but some of these have been a little bit tougher. There's 2 reasons this is happening. First of all, the yellowing is a sign that it is decreasing in its chlorophyll production, which definitely this is happening right here. So when it gets really cold, that can happen, especially with cold stress. And then secondly, these were not under grow lights for very long. I wanted to get them below the 72-degree temperature mark once they germinated, but that is backfiring on me. So it's either the cold stress or it needs more sunlight. So if you don't have enough chlorophyll, it's not good for the plant. They can be stunted. They won't produce as many flowers. You won't get as much fruit, especially on your vegetables, stuff like that. So what I'm doing to help them recover is I'm sticking them under these lights for a long period of time. And I'm going to keep that going until we get some more consistent sunlight in the greenhouse, which we just haven't gotten hardly any, and when the daylight hours become a little bit longer. I also wanted to add, so you see these sets of leaves, these are true leaves, these are cotyledon leaves, so they don't really count. So I've actually been adding some more fertilizer too, which I just use the stinkiest stuff in the world. I'll show you what it looks like real quick. So what I use is the seaweed extract. It's high in the potash, and then I've got some fish emulsion, high in nitrogen, which will be really good for these yellowing leaves. I want to get those green again, but I don't want to use this too much, especially when they're under stress. So I'm being really careful about it. Basically, all I do is put 1 teaspoon of each in this half-gallon sprayer. Really simple. I thought I'd share that with you because sometimes that can be confusing. But honestly, I'm more worried at this point to just keep them warm and give them enough of that light before adding a lot of that fertilizer. But typically when they get these new sets of leaves, these are true leaves, that's when you start fertilizing about once a week. You just kind of saturate them. But I think they're going to be okay. They are going to recover. It's just going to set them back a little bit. There is some browning of the leaves right here, which is not a good thing. Hopefully they'll be okay. But I noticed these tiny ones, they're really struggling. Let's take out my Lysanthus. And they are really small. You can't even see them from here. But I'm so happy with these because they're starting to form those second set of leaves. And they don't seem to be really struggling with that cold snap as much as my stock. Look at those cute new little set of leaves. And they're not looking yellow. They're kind of green. I think maybe they just stayed a little bit warmer because they were down here on the heat mat. And that probably kept them just a bit warmer than the stock, which was up here with no heat mat by the cold windows. So they're doing okay. But a lot of them are just taking off. I'm surprised that I've heard they grow so slow, so I wasn't expecting them to get their second set of leaves so quickly. But there is quite a bit of algae. So I've been watering them minimally and letting them dry out a little bit, but look at that one. That one's just decided it's the big baby. Just wanted to show you ones that have been a little bit more wet on a regular basis. There's a lot more algae growth. And they're just a lot smaller. You can hardly even see them. And they haven't formed those second set of leaves yet. So water definitely plays a role in these Lysanthus seeds. I was actually corrected the other day that it was Lysanthus. And the same thing with my Lysanthus, just gonna make sure they stay nice and warm and put them under that light. I'm giving them at this point about 14 hours of light. I was doing 16, but it just felt like a little bit of overkill. These are my Roseanne brown stock. I did plant them a little bit later than the first rounds of stock. They were in here when it got cold. They're looking a lot better. There's not a lot of yellowing going on, but they have been getting more sunlight too. Really happy that these are gonna be okay. A little bit of leaf curl, but they'll come out of it. I know I keep saying sunlight. I meant to say grow lights, but it's been kind of a weird winter. I'd say we're only getting about 2 days of sunlight, 2 to 3 days of sunlight a month, just because it's been snowing and raining so much. Do any of you guys live in a state where it's just dark? You don't get a lot of that sunlight. It's making me really appreciate sunlight when it does come out. It's kind of glorious. It's heavenly. I just kind of sit in my car and I bask in it, but I am craving a little bit of it at this point. It's kind of mentally wearing on me. I shouldn't be so dependent on sunlight, right? That's what I tell myself. Enjoy whatever season you are in. Here are my sweet peas, and they were just fine. They're looking really good. No signs of a lot of stress, but it is my first time growing them, so I'm not quite sure what to expect, but they look pretty good to me. They're all kind of germinating at different times. This one came out about a week ago. These ones are finally starting to come out, so it's about a 3-week period of germination for these. But look at my ranunculus. They are just doing so good. They're starting to sprout. These are the cutest little things ever. They're all coming out. So I'm gonna really have a nice head start on some of these. My next thing is I've just got to pot up more ranunculus. I have about, I think there's like 80 in here, or maybe 60. So I actually bought 40 more ranunculus. I was telling myself I was done, but I should know better than that by now. Should never tell myself that, because then I end up feeling guilty when I buy more stuff. If I tell myself, give myself the expectation that it's never gonna end, I feel a lot better about it. But I realized in my 5-foot by 12-foot long garden box, so they're pretty big, but we're tall people, so yes, we can still reach the center of the box. They kind of recommend 4 feet wide garden boxes. I needed more like 120 ranunculus, and I only had about 75. So I want this to be a full garden box. I want it to be beautiful. So I actually bought these corms from Eden Brothers. They're the ones that we're still selling them and delivering them right now rather than early spring. You could still buy some, but they are more expensive than other online stores. So I did pay a pretty penny for them, but I am gonna get some succession planting this way. These ranunculus are so gorgeous. They're white, pink, and peachy. They're the bridal collection. And so I just barely pre-soaked those and potted them up last night. So they will be, I put them in my trays like I did these other ones, and they will be pre-sprouting in about 2 weeks. So I'll get blooms a little bit later. But with these ones, I'm actually gonna put them directly in my low tunnel before I pot them up. I'm just waiting for those temperatures to get a little bit warmer. Next week, we're getting down to 5 degrees. So it's a really cold week. I think in about 2 weeks, it will get a little bit warmer and I can throw them out under the low tunnel. So we'll see what happens with those, but that's kind of what I've got going on today. I hope you guys like these updates. Really kind of figuring out what I'm supposed to do with myself right now. I'm just kind of in this waiting period. we did go to a convention, learned a lot. We're designing my front flower bed. A lot of areas in my yard, we're kind of creating a bubble map just to get long-term design plans. If you are interested in seeing what I'm doing in my front yard, let me know and I can walk around in the snow and kind of let you envision it with me. I'm not sure. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great winter. Those of you in California and some other areas, the gardening season never seems to stop, so I hope you're having fun. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. Consider subscribing, and we'll talk to you later.